Okay, so we're back to talk more about the pleasure trap and how we can begin to be free of using food to give us high dopamine hits.
Right, right. So we talked about how there's this natural system built into every human being to ensure that we get all of the energy and nutrients we need from our food. It gives us a little hit of dopamine when we eat the foods that give us energy and nutrients. But since we've started to alter our food, we've started to refine food so that the sugars are concentrated and the fiber is gone that helps to dilute it and the water's gone that helps to dilute it. We overstimulate that system. And then that's where we get into trouble. We start falling off the bike and having pleasure that shouldn't come with falling off the bike.
Right.
No. But what we've found helps people a lot is understanding too where our sense of well-being comes from. Because so often when we're reaching for food, when we aren't hungry, it's because there's some kind of unsettled feeling. There's anxiety, some sense that things aren't right. And since we've had the experience that food can give us a dopamine hit, we often reach for the food to try to deal with the anxiety that we're feeling.
Yeah, we're using an unnatural way to try to calm ourselves down.
Here we have a client the other day who's familiar with this. We've talked with her about it before, and she told us a little story about how she was on the iPad and it wasn't working. And so she immediately got up, went into the kitchen, grabbed a chocolate brownie and took a bite, and then looked at the brownie and went, "Oh, this is supposed to fix my iPad?" But that's the thing. We turn to food for a sense of well-being when we're upset about something that has nothing to do with food.
True, true.
So here's a way that we've seen really helps us to understand this whole cycle. So this is our world of well-being. And when we're born, we have this little gem inside of us, this gem of well-being, and it's always there. It's always within. And you look at a little child when they're born, and they don't need anything to be okay. They're just life is all they need.
Yeah.
And yet, as we grow and develop, we start associating our well-being with things outside of us.
True.
So for this little child, a lot of children, they have a favorite teddy bear or a blanket or a security blanket. And if things get a little shaky, they go to the teddy bear.
True.
And now they suddenly feel better. So interesting. But if you take that teddy bear apart, there's no well-being in there.
No.
It's full of fluff. But the association is that the teddy bear is what gives me the well-being. And we've just lost track of the sight that we have the well-being inside of us. When we have that teddy bear, our mind settles, and then we're aware of the well-being. But we make the association that I need my teddy bear to be okay. So then as we grow and develop, we begin to associate other things with our well-being. Like for me, I had a rule that said, I need to be approved of. I need approval in order to be okay. And so that became a rule in my world for well-being. Because if somebody criticized me, I'd go off the charts. It's like the rug was pulled out from underneath me. Suddenly I was all anxious. Something wasn't right in my world. So I would be scrambling to try to figure out how can I get back to a sense of well-being.
And one of mine has always been, I need to feel in control.
In control. So Connie needs control. Another one of mine is I need to do things right. I cannot make a mistake. And so even before I start to do something, I'm trying to figure out how not to make a mistake. Right.
And mine is I want things orderly and
Right.
in peaceful.
Yeah, real sense of calm in the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all have our little needs, and it's all different because I don't have the same need for that sense of order and calm. So it's if things get a little, in the kitchen, they get a little busy or dirty or something, Connie is constantly going around tidying and everything. And I'm just like, what's the problem here? So her sense of well-being is disturbed when mine isn't. So it's never the circumstance that actually creates the lack of well-being or the feeling of well-being, because the well-being is always inside.
Yeah.
And the more we can see that and free ourselves from the association that, oh, my well-being is in order. Everything needs to be orderly. If I can take that out, I can still have the enjoyment of an orderly environment, but I'm not driven by it.
Yeah, I don't have to run eat food if things are a mess.
Right. And so if things are a mess, we aren't using the old pleasure trap system to try to deal with something that isn't even real.
True.
That's trying to find well-being in a sense of order that is just an association I've made. So the more we can see what our needs are that aren't true needs for well-being, the more we can free ourselves by understanding that, oh, I'm okay even when I'm not being approved of. The more I can free myself of that, then when somebody criticizes me, I'm going, oh, they have a different opinion. And my world I don't fall off the edge of the earth, the flat earth. And so, yeah, we hope that this can help you understand the relationship between how the mind works, the mental conditioning to associate circumstances and things with a sense of well-being that aren't actually true, that are not where our well-being is found. Our well-being is found when we quiet our minds, when we see that actually the universe has our back and that there's this universal intelligence that's really maintaining balance and harmony in everything in the world, including our lives, our relationships, and our well-being.
So the next time you want to use food in a way where you know it has nothing to do with hunger, what you want to do is just pause, relax for a moment, quiet your mind, and check in. Is this really ideal for me right now? Often I'll get no, have a glass of water.
Yeah, that eating with presence exercise that Connie's talking about, that we referred to before, is a way, you see, of taking the flags out. When we get present with where we are right in the moment, habits and conditions and associations don't exist there. It kind of gives us that clean slate where we are just ourselves. We can just be ourselves. And from there, we often get a very different response to what was coming up in the mind when we thought our well-being was dependent on order or approval.
Yeah, so presence exercise review, that means when you want to eat something that you know isn't ideal or you're not hungry at all, stop, put all your awareness in your mouth. And if you decide to choose that food, then chew it until it's liquid. And feel love from your heart for it. Just let love flood that food. And when you swallow it, most important, notice how your body receives it. And in that, two things happen. One, you begin to use those old habits that aren't productive to move yourself forward in awareness. And also, when you're totally present with food, with any food, no habit exists there. So you start to unravel those habits of reaching for food to calm you or to change your feeling level in some way.
Right. So give that a try and leave us a comment. What happens in your life?
Yeah, and the food, we're going to give you a beta carotene soup. It is so good for the body and tastes amazing and only has 4 ingredients.
Yeah, very simple, very quick.
High in fiber, high in water, great for natural weight loss as well.
High in antioxidants. It's a
Yeah.
real immune booster. Thanks, everybody. Great to see you.
Bye.